About 50 pounds and less. That sounds like you had mono. That's not.
Yo, everything's on follow though.
I know. Because they're fucking trying to attack the thing I'm trying to tame.
And now my asshole stretcher is stuck inside of whatever. He ain't going anywhere.
I have not yet. Goldie. I will. Goldie. I will. Try to do that tonight.
What? Drink lots of water and lose weight?
No.
I tried to drink a lot of cold beer.
Goldie had a request. So. Yeah, it's a description of something. Definitely, definitely not healthy. It's not a description of a healthy person.
Fuck being healthy. The fuck does getting healthy actually do for you? Well, you live longer? Ooh.
Ooh, you get to live longer in this piece of shit, huh?
I mean,
I do it for the, so people can view my Twitch more, so I can give the people what they want. That's the reason I try to get healthy.
full of shit you are.
I just do it for the people, man.
Right, yeah. Maybe that's what we ought to set up a donation for. $10 million to get me healthy.
Spend more money on video games and medications. It's one benefit.
You know.
That's a good point.
Well, yeah, no, because if you give me $10 million, then shit, I can start doing cocaine and I'll lose weight like a motherfucker. I mean, and y'all be streaming all the damn time. I'm like, yeah, hey, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Fair point.
Shit, I'll never need to eat. Hell, I'll probably, get to the point where water? What the fuck's water? What is it? Can I mix it with cocaine? Can I drink it?
Shit. Oh, how you been today, buddy?
It's been a crappy day.
Really?
Yeah, mom's in the hospital.
Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I don't need the sorries. It just,
Yeah.
the way
sucks.
the way it goes, and of course, not to drop my family drama on those that are
Twitch.
paying attention, but so you get that call, and now of course, now everybody's concerned about what's going to happen at the household.
Right. What's gonna happen to me here?
How's that? How is that primitive plus going?
I am getting my ass whooped. I'm just getting crushed.
Yeah, I've trying to get this little base built in the blue area, man. It's a challenge in its own right.
Tricked it.
Just want to get some stuff
Smarter
built.
than that snake. Well, that doesn't make me smart. Okay.
Oh, get the fuck out of the way.
And now I can't. I don't think it was mono, but I did have a respiratory infection, a renal infection. A few times it became thrush. shitty winter. That does sound pretty shitty. Shoot. Now I'm hungry. Just talking about losing weight. Good. Well, did my game crash? No. So now I have to spawn all the way back here. Might not be a terrible thing. I might need to get limestone from here. Or maybe, just maybe, I build the other boat here.
Or actually just add the gravestone mod and
I could do that. Could do that.
just to save some of the headaches and heartaches.
But I think the team, I think everybody on Twitch enjoys watching me get destroyed.
Annihilated, and then the struggle to get
annihilated.
back, and you know.
Watch me cry. Yeah.
Yeah. There's enough things that'll make you cry in this game, I'm sure.
Yes, I will ride a raptor across the ocean. I will do that.
Alright, so now I finally got a forge going over here. I need to go pile on the metals. Was it bracelet? Bracelet was my heaviest one. Okay. I think.
I probably need to turn down how much. Well, okay. I want to turn down how much stuff I'm getting, how much harvesting, but I'm dying so much. Like, I never have it anyway. And I don't have to do any, and people don't have to watch me harvest. So really, I think that's the biggest benefit. It's at 10x. By the way, that's what I'm. And maybe once I get some dinos, I'll change that. But for now, it's gonna have to stay this way.
Question is, are you having fun doing it right now?
I am loving it. I'll be honest with you, I'm loving it.
Then don't change it.
I'm getting crashed.
I will.
Love it.
I'm sure I will join you.
Good.
I got this shit in my head to do this, and I'm gonna do it. I want to get to the rock drakes. I want to get.
That's fine. And I know you do that. I just wanted to check this Primitive Plus out, because I'm really liking it so far. I'll definitely come back and help you out if you need it for anything. I can go gather some stuff for you, whatever.
Hell no, I want you to go. I want you to go exploring in this blessed place and get your shit beat into a pulp because you didn't realize it was, a bad thing.
Already. That's happened already.
Yeah. I was just watching a streamer, and he was new to Aberration, but he's got some buddies playing, and they've kind of been doing it. But still, some of it was just there's that amount of rapage that happens, and it's just funny because you just go, man, there's not many ways you can avoid it. It's gonna happen.
All right.
But again, part of it is the learning, and that's
of course, yeah. And that's also what makes it fun. I mean, if you're not getting your ass kicked, it's not fun, in my opinion. If you're just beating the hell out of it, like, that's the way I feel. If there's no challenge, I'm not really getting anything out of it, right?
Like, you may not be getting anything out of it. People are probably slapping their knees and.
Oh, I said if there's no challenge, if there, there is a challenge, then people are loving it. I think, and then I know I'm loving it. So I think it's a win-win for everyone. Uranus saddle. I want a Uranus so bad. That's one thing I missed on Aberration more than anything was a Uranus.
I mean, on the one hand, it feels kind of bad watching you just bash your face into the sand all the time. But on the other hand, it's like, I can't believe you didn't remember that you left a raptor outside your house on stasis.
No, I completely forgot. Completely forgot. As soon as I walked out of the boat. Good, I got bashed.
Can't
Alright.
can't imagine that would ever happen to you. I feel so heartfelt and
Upset.
yeah, I mean
I hate to do that to you, but yeah. Go to your Wi-Fi. Screwing with you again. What's that do?
yeah, Nemo, I'm drinking that sake. That American
Oh,
sake.
That American sake, man, a lot of people like it.
Yeah.
I guess technically it's Dutch sake now because it's sold.
I know, yeah, that's freaking embarrassing. I think Anheuser and Bush himself are both just going, "What the fuck?" But
I mean, it takes some serious mismanagement to go from being the #1 beer in America for over 100 years to bankrupt in like 3 years.
I mean, even the Bud Bowl. I mean, it was part of the, you know, come on. How can you have screwed that crap up? But
Do you remember when they bought towns, like to rename them
Yep.
Budweiser?
Oh yeah.
And they did that to like 11 towns in a row, and it didn't work the first time.
Greed gets the best of any male or female. Gets to
Okay,
them all.
This snake is going down.
Is he? Is he
He's
really?
So dead. He's so dead this time.
You're going down on the snake. I got you.
That's disgusting.
Hey. Don't knock it till you try it.
Now I'm knocked out in the fucking boat. Come on. Let me up. 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 Let me up.
Hey,
This
more
has been.
more fun penis facts.
Mm.
All reptiles have at least 2 sets of genitalia.
Mm.
You
What's
know,
a reptile?
I don't know if that's a good piece of information or the fact that you know that piece of information is even any more better. I mean, at what point do you actually go and realize that a reptile has 2 genitalia? And the fact that you retain that information means that there's a curiosity.
I spent half my life studying trying to be a geneticist, and it didn't work out.
So you wanted to create more genitalia?
Well, I mean, technically,
I mean, isn't the 2 just enough?
no. What it came down to was that there was this company that I wanted to work for, and they've already cured cancer 227 times by now, even though I don't work for them. And a lot of what they do is they splice animal genes together with plant genes and then human genes, and they add that to a virus, and they see if it cures cancer.
Gotcha. It's a retrovirus.
Right.
But they've cured cancer.
227 times.
Oh.
Unfortunately, there's over 5,000 types of cancer.
Gotcha.
Curing cancer is not just one problem.
Yeah, right. But within the statement, I mean, it makes it sound so.
Well, they've also found a way to cure 6 different types of diabetes. They've got 3 different cures for Alzheimer's. One of them actually works. And they have a cure in the works for multiple sclerosis that works sometimes.
They got one worse for MS. That'd be a big deal too.
Yeah, Genentech. They're a really cool company.
Sounds like a cool one. It is. It's a good, doing good for the sake of humanity and for the dollar, I suppose.
Yes, your Wi-Fi is being a hoe. I hear you, hoe.
Come on. I'm just gonna remain passed out for the rest of the evening. My character enjoys being on the ground.
Oh, there's something so wrong, but so right. I mean, what was making
The
you?
snake's just gonna ride around with me.
Is he just knocking you out through the wall?
Yeah.
No, I poked my head out the door a while ago. And I don't think that's doing any damage to him when I shoot him.
He's bleeding a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see. So let's finish out. I want to get all these to be metal, but got these stone foundations, so let's get them built.
Oh, it's running from me. I killed it. Too damn.
Alright.
It's calling me. I will be right back. Ladies and gents.
I guess what my question is, what's she calling you?
Yes, darling?
Oh, your mic's
Do
on.
what?
As entertaining as it will be to
Sorry?
hear his conversation, I don't know if I really,
Okay.
You know.
Just a second.
you know, yes, I did the dishes. Yes, I folded my underwear. Okay, yeah,
That seems more like a mom conversation than a girlfriend conversation. Though in some cases I can see how that might be the same thing.
he's married. So, yeah, it's a mom, mother, a wife. Right. Goldie's damn, I'm halfway to 600 views. Yeah, well, the views are beneficial in a sense, I think. But, again, it's the, I don't know, Nima, you seem to watch a lot of people, and I don't know, what's helpful for the Twitch streamer to
Well,
get more noticed and
I mean, one thing that I would say is when you find yourself asking that question, look outside. If it's a really nice day with a full moon and happens to be a weekend, there's nothing you can do.
well, but I guess I understand what you say, but also, I mean, there's people in England and Australia, and they're starting to wake
Yeah.
up, and
I mean, the Aussies, their internet is so bad they generally try not to watch anybody from other countries.
I don't. That's what's crazy though, because I see a lot of people from many different countries.
Yeah. I mean, here in the States, we have good internet all across the whole world. But, I mean, Australia is right there next to the Great Firewall of China, you know, and they've got that whole Indonesian data vault thing that we did to them. And then the next closest thing is India, and who wants to be on the internet with frickin' India?
You know, okay. So I will say this, and here will be my statement. I have no trouble with anybody coming, and I have no trouble watching anybody depending on any country they come around to. Now, I'm in Middle America, Missouri. And now, when it comes to India, we get and there's a pretty decent little college here, and it gets a lot of transfer students, but I have yet to meet one that I liked.
I've met one, just one though, only
Okay,
one.
so it is possible, but there is something within the Indians, and
Well, what
even
it is, and I can explain it even. He talked to me about it at length. That's pretty much the only thing we talked about for like 2 months. If you can afford to leave India, you are the richest people in India.
right, and that's what I've come to understand.
And when you're the richest of 1 billion people, that kind of gives you an attitude.
Yeah, and that's I think what it is. Everyone I've met, there is that pompous attitude, and here they're in little Middletown, Missouri. They're nobody.
Even my friend Raji was like, you know what? I can't stand the other Indian people that came to college with me. I can't deal with it. I can't do it. That man drank more scotch.
Hmm.
And Scotch was his preference.
Actually, he preferred Glenfiddich because British people conquered India.
Okay.
But when he came to America, we taught him about scotch. So for a while, he was okay with Jameson.
I mean, you got to make certain, circumstances and
He turned me on to Glenfiddich, and then he gave me a bottle for my birthday, and I kept it in a cupboard for like 22 years. I gotta tell you, it's pretty good stuff.
Wow.
I don't even drink, and that's pretty good stuff. Like it'll punch you in the neck.
so then it's pretty good stuff. It
Yeah.
punches you in the neck. Yep. Oh yeah.
I mean, the taste is good too, but smelling it is enough to get most people drunk.
Mhm. I'm a huge lightweight these days, so probably I'll definitely go down hard after the smell.
I mean, I had a guy that would come and bring me gifts, and he would hang out for a little while when he did that. And after a while, I was like, "Here, try this." And the second time he slept on my couch all night after one shot, I was like, "You don't get any more, man."
Why is the rudder not want to work for me?
How's this other one doing? God, the other one grew so fast.
They just grow up so fast, don't they?
They all do, man. They all do. Now, Cat Dad, I have to ask, did you add S Plus to that server?
No. Did not.
Because it looks like the foundations are S Plus.
No. I actually looked into it, but apparently there's something up with Primitive Plus and S Plus, or they just don't get along or something, or it's not been updated. Is what it is. The creator of S Plus has not updated their Primitive Plus.
Primitive Plus to S Plus.
Thing. Yeah.
There was a big argument in the community when Primitive Plus first came out.
Over what?
Well, the people that thought they wanted it were the hardcore PvPer types, and the people that actually wanted it were the role player types.
Yeah, and I can see that. Because there's a really unique crowd out there for role players
Hmm.
when it comes to Arc. Now it's selective. I mean,
If you're talking about the Twitch RP group,
I'm just talking about RP in general.
yeah, I mean there's thousands of private servers that are just pure RP.
Yeah. But what I've seen through Twitch, because
Right.
it
Let's not discuss it.
it is selective, but it's
They came over from Grand Theft Auto 5 RP.
What?
Yeah, and after like 2 or 3 years of that, they had sort of an established culture going on that you probably shouldn't talk about on a stream. I think there's actually rules that you're not allowed to say things that might upset people who are looking for ways to get upset.
okay. So why aren't we supposed to talk about it again?
Right.
I mean,
Perfect. Sounds right up our alley.
I mean, I guess what?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I mean, you just as long as you don't name specific names, everything should be fine.
Well,
Mostly.
I don't know anybody.
yeah, and I didn't.
There are a
Yeah.
couple of really really big name streamers that are part of that Twitch RP art community, and they make a lot of money on YouTube as well. And Twitch does not want you to reduce their income.
I love roleplay. Nice shirt, sponsored. Oh, you like the shirt? Yeah, thank you.
I think they're talking about me. I think you're still raiding me.
No, I'm reading what you're.
Oh, okay.
I'm reading your channel. Yes,
Oh, okay.
because yeah, you got 6 people.
Nice.
I
Hashtag
should,
big time. That's right.
you know, maybe I should. I still got. Wonder why it says only 1 viewer, but I guess that's my channel. But whatever, I'm watching yours, watching you build your boats, man, while I'm doing mine.
Trying to build my boat.
Building the boat. Well, I don't know. That I watched. Oh, okay. So I'll give you my extent of what I know about RP. Arc Servers was one of the computer magazine companies was looking into it, and one of the guys actually got invited, and there was a list of rules and things that he had to abide by. You couldn't refer to yourself as your real name. You couldn't refer to yourself as, I mean, once you were there, you were the character you created.
You are now Baba Ganoush.
Yeah, whatever.
It's actually a pretty popular name.
And but he got to hang out for a little bit, and it was entertaining. It was fun. I mean, they had cantinas, and they had little castles, and stuff that was built up and made it look really fun. And but again, he's like, but for you to get on this, for one, you have to fill out an application. You have to go here and you do this, and you have to, and I actually thought about it for a while. I was like, as big as I am into Ark, I think it would be kind of fun. And then as I started to look a little bit more, I'm like, at the time, I just like, I don't have the time and effort to really truly role play something like that. And for it to be beneficial for me to play and have fun and blah blah blah. But I haven't ever heard that, Nemo, that it's one of those things you just don't talk about. You just don't.
If you just don't say that it exists.
It's like Fight Club.
Is it Fight Club?
I mean,
no, what I mean is there's certain personalities that dominate official roleplay, and those personalities are the type that get their way by whining to a higher authority.
Oh,
That's what you're saying.
Really? Whining actually get you somewhere?
And
okay.
They all play the same character. Which is to say they don't really roleplay.
Let's see. It says, can't hear you, Tyler. You're going to lose viewers. Oh, you probably still have your
muted.
mic on mute from your phone call.
Still muted. Yeah, that's what it was. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Hashtag big time. Hashtag thanks, Sydney.
Hashtag.
I mean, if you're going to be putting like 10 or 15 hours a day into streaming and you want to play one game so that you can have a reliable comeback audience all the time, you're going to be fighting with the other people that are doing the same thing. And that's, for Ark, that's like the top 40 on the listings.
Yeah.
A lot of those are people who are watching the role play, but they don't really care so much about what they're watching, and that's why they're watching that. It's more about the fact that Ark is the kind of game where once you reach a certain point, you're established enough to be able to get all your stuff back in 10 minutes. It doesn't really matter if you actually play the game anymore or not.
Right.
So you have a lot more time to interact with your audience and be a personality and have, sound effects and stuff going on.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So if that's the direction you want to be taking yourself as a streamer, and it's a highly successful one for a lot of people, then that's the reason that you would do that.
I see.
Which makes for a relatively low quality roleplay experience.
Well, and that's where Tyler and I talked about a couple of the games out there, and like Pillars of Eternity. Okay, so don't know how big it really is in the global scale of things, but it's a RPG, and but even Tyler was like, yeah, but man, there's a lot of reading that you have to do. And, okay, yes, but that's also what also gives you something to talk and
That's
engage true. and be someone that lets you talk to your people, blah blah blah. Now if that's the game that you choose to play or that style, then yeah. Now Ark, I think, is entertaining in a lot of ways because you can do the building, you can do the exploration, you can, and then still there is no true pause to the game, so even if you do stop, things are still going on. I don't, but you make the great point: is that what you want to get yourself streamed as or twitched as? That's a good
Is that what you
question.
want to be known for?
I mean, if that is, then so be it. If it's role play, but if you're gonna spend 15 hours on it, then. But that's also once you built your community, and if your community's there, then they talk to themselves. But I don't know. I don't ever see myself getting to the point where Geek and Sundry has gotten to, where chat's non-existent because they're doing so many other things. I mean, literally, you go to Geek and Sundry, don't plan on trying to talking to the people that's twitching. It's literally become a TV station.
Yeah, anything really above about 275, and chat is no longer a possibility.
But
even then, when you have that many people, it goes by so fast that you end up having like sub-communities that branch off and go to different channels in Discord and stuff.
well, and that's
How many subs to shave my head?
Carnage.
One.
I've gotten a kick out of watching right now, and he still tries to make the attempt to try to say something to everybody, but it's just. Of course, I think he's got like 15 moderators that help him manage his channel, because he'll have 10,000 viewers, and he's just playing the game, whether it be Battle Mech or, what got me watching him was Pillars of Eternity, because I'm really curious about it. And
Ward, you just gotta get me to affiliate, and then I'll shave my head.
oh no shit, is
I'll
that
shave my head for affiliate? Yeah.
so? An average of 3 viewers for the next 30 days, and
17 followers.
17 more followers. I don't know. Now, how do we make that an event? How do we make that,
One way to cheat it would be to do a giveaway. You'll have 500 people show up for free stuff because they're all robots, and then as soon as the giveaway is over, then never come back.
See, and that's something I've thought about too. Was the, trying to get a giveaway or game subs and then that's exactly what I come back to is like, nah, because then you just get a bunch of free basin freeloaders that.
Mm-hmm.
Because even like, oh hell, on my channel, I've got the little leaders board, and I think I took it off because I didn't like the fact that like electrical skateboard was #1 viewer. Electrical skateboards.
Is that one of those sociology bots?
Or it's, I don't know what they call it, but it's one of those where you can go to his channel and then he'll stream, or she'll stream, or it'll stream possibly your channel for 10 minutes, and then people can go and join your channel through him. I don't know. I guess I don't understand it as much as I think I do, but again, I think I understand it well enough that a lot of false prophecies out there.
Oh yeah.
But I'd like to think that some of the guys I watch, you know, they're trying to do it in a fashion that's, I don't know what the fuck you call legit on this anymore, but try to actually just get people to come have fun with them playing a dumbass game and fail and or succeed or actually just come see, oh, so you got one of the newest games and you actually got it 4 days ahead of time because you're sponsored by this game ship.
Yeah.
So is this going to be a game I'm going to enjoy? So I want to see how the game is actually played, and because like Frostpunk's one of the new ones that's getting. I think it's out, but it's or coming out or.
It came out the same day as BattleTech.
Okay, so I watched a lot of people that got the game a week early, and I mean, so a lot of people were coming to check out. So what is it? How is this game? Is it worth playing? And then I think once you get people into the channel, and if they like you, then they'll hang out. But it's also funny because I've watched a few my old YouTubers, and you know they're starting to stream because Twitch itself seems to be more caretaking of their affiliates partners than YouTube is now.
Yeah, YouTube. I think a lot of people are losing a lot of money on YouTube right now because of the way their advertisements work or something like that.
It's because their advertising their monetization department is what they call it decided to go all SJW. Like you're gonna do what we tell you to do. You're not gonna get paid.
Right. Well, no. XB Crafted is one of my watching, and he's a big. Just from what I've seen from him, he's still big enough within YouTube that he still will make his money, but he's still an advocate of the fact that as a young YouTuber, it's difficult and it's stupid and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of this, I feel like TV's dead. Radio is very long dead. And TV and radio were these enormous, just monstrous industries that set all the standards and made all the rules and owned everything, and we're only 3 companies.
Yeah. And now you've got...
Till cable came out, and then you could do...
Right, and then cable started this whole advertising owns everything phenomenon, right? And then Google came along and it was like, no more advertising companies, just us.
Podcasting is getting quite a bit of quite the rage right now as well. So in a way, I guess I don't know. I like to think radio is still somewhat of what the spirit of radio is still alive.
Well, because it's easier to get radio within your vehicle, and it's easier for your local companies to utilize a radio because of those. But
yeah, I mean that 10 years ago, yeah, but really now, I mean, not anymore now.
Well,
Damn Sabretooth.
I guess it depends on location because again, I'm middle.
I'm
America.
right here with you, man. I'm in Iowa. I'm not too far. I'm just trying to say, I'm in a town with a population 2,000. We have this place that sells hamburgers that are way overpriced, and they would do so much better with a Yelp listing than they will with a radio ad. Because while people do still listen to the radio out here in the boonies, they all listen to the same damn station, and it's not because they like the music. It's because it's like a status symbol that you have a radio now.
Yeah, well, so you're probably still in the same scenario where still some people don't even know what an email address is. Because that's
that on them inner tubes.
mhm. Having an email. What? Because
them kids on that chat space just need to calm it down.
Because I've definitely been within that corporate side of America, and again, I've got to change a lot of things how I view, but I've been so corporated in so many things. But
I wanted to make a guess about this a long time ago. Did you work at Shenanigans?
yes,
Oh my god!
yes,
Nailed it.
yes, I did. And you know what? That's more accurate than you care, dude. I care to admit. Literally, I do not want to say over the broadcast, but yes. Oh, yes. Yes. And
Funny.
what's humorous about that is it was a big part of my life for a long time.
You don't have to put on more than 15 pieces of flair if you don't want to. It's just recommended that you put on as much flair as you possibly can.
And I was that fucking manager. I was that, literally, because that's it paid well.
I spent a couple of years at TGIF, so yeah, I know them feels.
But it wasn't TGIF, just so you know.
No. There's like 11 of them now.
The real Lorius says radio is useful when power lines go out too. Yeah, and there's still some good benefits to a radio versus a TV. But I mean, it's funny because I've got my radio on in the background. I've got the local station because it plays the music I like, but man, once that internet goes down, man, internet, radio becomes the thing, but I don't know. It's funny how the demand versus the need, and the need versus the demand, and how society says this is what's best, and how I get so frustrated about whether it is the SJWSs or I don't give a fuck what their acronyms come down to be, but sorry if you get upset about something. Find a fucking way to deal with it. And I'm sorry if we don't have a safe base here in Iowa and Missouri.
Oh.
Because
honestly, I like the fact that if you say the wrong thing, somebody might punch you in the fucking teeth. I like
that. And I agree. And you know what? Yes.
That's what it should be.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be that you get punched in the... Especially now, because...
wrong thing. But okay.
If you say my sister's a whore, chances are I'm going to come at you.
Unless she actually is, and she makes more than you. In that case, maybe not.
But again, I'm north of the Kansas City area, Lorius. So,
okay, all right, yeah, no, yeah.
And again, I don't know how to say your name, Lorarius.
Oh, in your channel.
The real. I don't want to get it wrong, man.
Is it Lawlarius?
Like Lawlarius? Or polar, lolar. I mean, because
words are hard.
Well, but when it's something like that, I mean,
I'll look at it.
I'll admit, because
the real hilarious. It's hilarious.
Law. It's hilarious with hilarious. Okay, fair enough. And that's even more fun, and that's even, you know, I'll respect and appreciate that. Hilarious. Okay, so now I know at least to say it. But
So are we offending people tonight? Can we do that?
can we offend people? I mean, I don't know. Are we? I think we.
Are we allowed?
I mean, I think we offend people just by being here.
Fair.
I mean, just by being, I think that alone is because we are not within the popular. Oh, how's the best way to say it? We are not popular within the social media aspects of the views, because I think that
Hey, remember that guy who came in yesterday and said, "Show me your tits"?
right. Oh, and that was even something I was watching Lawlarious's channel, and I was listening to the bullshit about something, and one of the guys said something about, show me your tits, and he's like, yeah, well, I don't think they want to see them, but and one guy's like, well, if you get up close and then you span out, because it'll start looking like it's a nipple, and then when they finally see, and I got a kick out of that. I was like, you know what? That's all right. So I'll show it. I'll start right here, and then I'll come right out and hi, man with a beard.
I've been showing my gut lately.
But
This is what I'm trying to lose.
but it's also okay, offensive. We're also in a society where it could be a dude being like, no, really, I want to see your chest, man. I want to see, and I'm a hairy dude, so it'd be like, ooh, badger, yeah. And I'm turning the dude on, and I'm like, oh no, I really don't want to be part of that. I did no. I really don't want to be that Twitch guy that turns on gay men. I just don't. I mean, if I do, I do. But that's not my goal. It's not.
I had somebody come in last night and ask me if I supported gay marriage, and I was like, it's 2018, man. Like, they followed me after I said yes. I don't know, just.
I don't have a problem.
I don't think I'm turning on any gay men. I just thought it was funny that you brought that up.
And that's what's funny, because again, Tyler, you've gotten to know me a little bit. Nemo, you've gotten to, I don't have a problem with it. Okay, so you like men and you're a dude. Okay, cool. That doesn't bother me one damn bit. But when you try to push your view upon that on me, then I'm gonna have problems. I mean, I've gotten a kick out of some. I've got a lot of gay cousins, and I've hung out with some. I've had a lot of people I worked with that were homosexual, lesbian, LGB, blah 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 blah. I've gotten a kick out of it when they thought they could turn me. I got.
Yeah. Someone tried to turn me one time, and I was like, man, I think it'll work. You're not gonna.
I'm complimented by it.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't. My Lego doesn't fit with your Lego. Okay? Sorry, those pieces just don't. Whether you're a Tinker Toy or a Lincoln Log. I mean, yeah. We can try to build a house with it, but it just ain't happening. It. But yeah. I think that there's something. So, Lalorius is and I've got lots of family in the St. Louis area, in the Popular Bluff, some near KC. Chicago was a neat fucking town, man. I wouldn't live in Chicago. If no, I'll retract that. I've been to the L.A. and I've been to the Boston area. I would live in Chicago before I would anywhere on either coast. Because at least with Chicago, I was able to drive an hour outside of town and still see farms. I went to the LA area and the Boston area. You would drive upon hours, and you just never seen true trees. You see parks, but you wouldn't see like actual grassland. And well, understanding when you say no one wants to live in Chicago now, and I get it because there's a lot of other issues within Chicago. But as far as land-based cities, I would live in Chicago before I would East Coast, West Coast. But I'm still not happy or proud of where I'm at. But again, there's a sense of culture and nature that just I actually have a yard. I actually have trees. I can actually build my own garden if I wanted to because I've got the room. It doesn't have to be in a planter. I don't know, but that's me. I don't want a concrete village.
Reminds me of a Skinner song.
But you know, Illinois, there's a lot of weird things going on with Illinois. And God, and this shows my age a little bit, but I think the school system's much better than you think. Indiana, I lived in Indiana and I grew up in Indiana as well for a while, and I actually spent some time in Kentucky.
Woohoo!
But the best school system I ran through was Indiana. And it's sad because I went from I was going from third, fourth grade Indiana to here to Missouri, and let's see. So I think it was fifth grade I was in here in Missouri, and I was on a seventh grade level because of what I had went through from Indiana. And I think that change truly changed who I was or could have been if I would have stayed in Indiana within their school system versus because I've always been a little bit of a nerd and a geek, always probably because the computers and all that stuff. But they enhanced that in Indiana. In Missouri, because of the smarts I had or the ability of my intellect I was able to do at fifth grade versus their seventh grade, put me on an outside society level. So I got picked on, and I was that kid that nobody liked because I was smarter than them.
Mm-hmm.
And in here in Missouri, they didn't have anything. So there I am in my fifth grade class, and the teacher's talking about math, and then she puts me over into a corner to start trying to teach me math that helped challenge me, and then
that's kind of wrong in a way. That's
oh
very
well,
wrong. I mean,
it is what it is. I mean, but I was. Here's the entertaining piece. I get it now. While Larry says, yeah, the school system is okay if you aren't in the Chicago public schools, but they have zero money left due to, yeah, and if you ever want to talk about politicians around here, it's a back and forth stupid scenario, but But again,
Mhm.
that school scenario, man. I'm coming back to Missouri, which is a strictly hard farming community. It's because it's what they. I mean, if I
What they
would have
do,
been
it's what
in,
they know.
if I'd have been in Pennsylvania, I would feel that it would have been coal and steel. Um,
Yeah, if you'd been here, it'd been cold.
I mean,
That's what we do.
or wood moonshine.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, uh, but there was something within the Indiana school system that just whether maybe I just had the neat teachers, maybe I just got lucky. I don't know.
Probably a little bit of both.
But it's also funny because shit, if you go to Texas, I think as a school kid, if you don't have much within football, and that's also where with Missouri, there wasn't much with. I was not a athletic. I was never very good athletic kid. I was more the thinker, thoughter, you know, than I was
Mhm.
physically. Now, I wasn't that I wasn't physical. I ran track. I did football for a while. But it just wasn't something I enjoyed and did. Lawler says,
Okay.
4 of our last 7 governors are in jail for corruption. Yeah, but you had Abe Lincoln, man. You had Abe Lincoln. You got to go back to, it's I can even use football euphemisms on that one. When like, us Chiefs, man, there was a time we had Derek Thomas. We were a fucking hell of a team, man. But
Talking about red and blue.
yeah, something like that.
I think it's funny. A lot of people don't know because they just don't care about history enough to study. The current Republican Party used to be called the Democrats.
I I want the fucking Whig Party back, man.
Right? The current Democratic Party used to be called Republican. They switched sides while Abraham Lincoln was president.
I
And
ain't no damn Democrat. I know
okay,
that.
so why is it? Here's my ultimate question when it comes to politics. Why is it that there's only 2 parties?
At one point there were 7.
Okay, but why is it that we only talk about 2 parties? I mean,
I don't think you'll like the answer.
I,
I dug it up. I found the truth, but I don't think I didn't like it. So I don't think anybody else will either.
Well, let's hear it. We seek the truth
Well,
here.
For
of
the
course,
longest time, there were no rich people that were also Democrats. Now that's changed in the last 50 or 60 years, but rich people, for whatever reason, and you can list off as many as you like, you'll never reach the end of the list, tend to gravitate toward the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Which leaves all of the other parties grasping for straws, trying to have some sort of a way to counter them, and that ended up being the Democrats.
Lawler says because the system is forced that way, and again, that's where, as we're going to maybe learn something from Nemo here, and again, may not be happy, but
I mean, there are a lot of democracies around the world that have
we're
more than 2-party system, though. It's not.
we're the oldest experimental democracy country.
Mm. Mm.
Are we?
I think France actually gets to claim that title.
Do they? Okay.
By about 70 years, yeah.
Okay, so, and maybe that's also where a Benjamin Franklin come to play in, because he sure as hell
Exactly.
he loved the French. I mean,
He spent a lot of time in France studying their democracy and brought as much of it as he could over
come
here.
on. Do you really think he was spending his time in France? I mean,
Getting drunk and having sex with whores.
I mean, I think there were Fringe benefits to learning what democracy was.
More than there's
You know,
democratic benefits to the fringe.
Well, I mean, at the time, America's politics were still ruled by Britain too. So, I mean, even when we had separated out into like 7 parties or whatever, and the Whigs were in control of everything, the Whigs were called the Whigs because they were British aristocracy. They wore wigs.
right? And that was again what I've always found funny. Again, I'm not one to sit here and say I know, because for one, again, I'm very oblivious or unoblivious to the fact that I don't know truly what went on 200 years ago. I just know what we were told. So,
Also, there's like levels of access too. There's like what you learn in 6th through 9th grade, which is all total BS. And then there's what you learn in your first 2 or 3 years of college before it becomes its own specialty field. And then there's what you learn in those specialty fields. And then there's what you learn by having a lot of free time on your hands and internet access.
Well, I have beach.
but go ahead, continue, Nemo, because I'm curious to hear what's going to offend me. Because
To this day, there.
sucks.
What's his name? There's this old Jewish man who lives in Las Vegas. All of the Republicans from the state level on up, all of them have to go visit this guy to get their campaigns funded every year, unless the Koch brothers fund them instead. God, what is his name? Adelson. Sheldon
Okay.
Adelson. He decides the Republican agenda from county level to federal level in every state. It's one guy. And all of the Republicans are yes men to him. They're all exceedingly rich because that guy is so freaking rich.
I think my stream might have crashed.
I think it did.
let's
You're
see.
back now.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I could stop watching myself, but well, show's live to me.
Okay.
But Sheldon Adelson gets to decide what Republicans say they think. He literally he pays them millions of dollars a year to say what he tells them to think. So rich people, because being rich is like the most exclusive club on earth. Yeah, okay. So because being a bank owner is the most exclusive club on earth, Sheldon Adelson gets to decide what half of the country thinks they know. And then they use media, because he's a massive media mogul as well, to penetrate the market, is what it's referred to in marketing, tell the public what they believe. Whereas the Democrats is just everybody who doesn't agree with that. Like here in Iowa, I don't remember what position she holds. I think it might be governor or congresswoman or something. I don't know.
She could be our governor. I mean, who knows? Well, I mean,
I don't even. Honestly, you'll understand why I don't care as soon as I explain this. Her campaign was, "I castrate pigs."
What?
She was a pig farmer for a while after she got out of the Air Force, and she based her campaign on "I am female, I castrate pigs." Now her competition was people that support Chuck Grassley. And you probably don't give a crap about Chuck Grassley. Honestly, we don't give a crap about Chuck Grassley. But Chuck Grassley's campaign was, "I mow my own grass." All right. Now this, he put into a commercial that shows him sitting on a big old tractor with 2 push mowers duct taped to the sides, driving across his front yard, and a whole bunch of Mexicans in the background doing landscaping. "I mow my own grass."
This is ridiculous.
I believe it.
I
mean-
believe it. Oh no, there's no question this happened.
Well, Larry says, just as I was going to add stuff, my girlfriend called, so I will catch up with you guys later. Bye. Thank you for watching me. You bet, man. Have a good
Thanks.
one. Thanks. Come back around and visit Cat Dad. Trying to build just trying to build our own funny community, man. So don't be a stranger. All right. I think he was gone by that time anyway, but who knows?
So
Chuck Grassley is also the senator that is calling for making abortion illegal again.
oh,
The man is 93 years old.
Okay.
Right, he hasn't been relevant in probably 25, 30 years, and he hasn't really been aware of his environment in probably 15. One of the campaign commercials that he did was, "I'll do whatever it takes. I'll tweet the tweeter tweets." Literally said that, and they put that on television.
That's fantastic.
And that guy got elected again, like for the 70th time.
We can't get rid of Mitch McConnell.
Oh my God, that guy.
Apparently everybody hates Mitch McConnell. Even the Republicans at this point hate Mitch McConnell, but we can't get rid of him.
Have you watched television lately where they're talking about midterm elections and they show the counties and the way they voted and how the gerrymandering works?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're gerrymandered hard over here.
Like, yeah, like
most people are though. Most states are.
They were just showing one a couple of days ago where I don't even know what state it was. They put the counties up and they're like, well, there were 17 million more Democratic votes than Republican votes, but that didn't matter because the districts work like this, and these places have mega churches.
Gotcha.
Separation of church and state. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that didn't work out so well for America.
I mean, it did until, Obama.
I think there was a failure before he ever. But
I think that what happened was so many people were so upset that a black man became president that they changed the way government works to get him out. I genuinely feel like that actually happened.
And why the fuck does it fucking matter what color he is? I mean,
because a lot of people have very strong feelings about things they genuinely do not understand.
Am I going to sit here and say that Obama did things that were grand and glorious? No.
I mean, I liked Obama as president, but you can't say that he was infallible.
Oh, hell no, he's a politician. But before you can be a politician, you got to be a lawyer. And to be a lawyer, you have to make money lying. Right?
That's actually true. And I've thought about this before. I feel like the parties they're only meant for lawyers because they're the only people that get paid to look at an argument and then have to choose. They don't get to choose which side they're going to be on, right?
Well, the little video I sent to you, Nemo, talk about going into DC, call it the swamp, and there was just 3 of these guys. I have no fucking clue who these guys are, but when they're talking about there's already a sense of this is what we do, so this is how we do it. And so you've got a few guys that are actually trying to go, no, it's not. We don't have to do it this way.
The politicians that we currently have at the federal level that are under the age of 55, I'm just going to put a cutoff there. That's retirement age for everybody else in the fucking country.
It's 65. 67, I think.
Okay.
I think
55. At 55, you get your senior discount when you go into
Dairy
Perkins.
Okay.
Dairy Queen. The theater. Parking lot. At 55, you have ceased to be relevant to society, and you are aware of this at all times. There is no way that you can't know that you are no longer relevant because it is constantly thrown in your face. It's like, oh, you're not relevant. Here, have a $1.50 discount.
It's so sad.
You know what I mean?
You're so sad and irrelevant. Here you go.
Right?
That's
It's really sick, and it's a disgusting thing that our society has done. But also, I get it. I mean, it's hard to argue the logic. And the politicians that we currently have that are under the age of 55, first of all, most of them are crazy, which is why they got into politics in the first place. And a lot of that crazy comes from being in inbred families that historically have been royalty, and then eventually they ended up sitting on piles of money so incredibly large that they never have to work a day in the rest of their life or their great grandkids' lives. Nobody ever has to work again in their whole fucking family. But they want to feel important because at some point their family legacy was built on somebody who actually fucking did something. Right? It's like the Rockefellers, right?
Mm-hmm.
John D. Rockefeller, the monster he was, actually did stuff.
Right.
There's been 5 generations since him that didn't do squat. They didn't do nothing.
Right.
And they're still some of the richest people on earth. Typically, like in Rome and Britain and for the entire Carolingian era, all throughout history, empires collapse on the 3rd age of a single dynasty. Because by the time, all right, so your first guy fights his way to the top. And he's such an egotistical alpha psychopath that somebody else has to raise his kids. And then that generation squanders the wealth that their parents earned out of mostly spite, but also because they have no idea what the hell they're doing. And they're this just useless, hedonistic lump of cancer on society. And then their kids are sort of an afterthought, like, hey, we have a family tradition to upkeep. I guess I should stop being gay for 5 minutes and go make an offspring. Right? And then that offspring, that 3rd generation, is like, this is all so incredibly stupid. My parents are terrible. Their parents were monsters. Here, let's give everything back to people who do things. And the empire collapses.
Right. Gotcha.
Well, here in the United States, we're on, I think, 9th generation of the same empire. That's the first time it's ever lasted that long in history. So for what Hawkwind was trying to say earlier about we're the longest standing attempt at democracy, that perception is based on this idea that we have families like the Bushes and the Kennedys and the Clintons. We have dynasties, just like a royalty would.
Yeah.
And they maintain these massive business contractual obligations that, you know, they make royalties until the end of time and so on, but they don't actually do anything after the 1st generation. None of them ever do.
You know, Chelsea Clinton. I don't know what the fuck she's doing with her time these days, but I just know that the little things I've seen, she's trying to do what she can to betterment from where she sees that we need to get things fixed.
I'm scared of that woman. I got to be honest with you.
And I am too, but I can't.
I'm scared of all those names you just mentioned.
I can't blame her as a person because.
Oh, you'll be able to in 20 years.
Well, okay. I mean that'll go back to something that we can all debate it in another level, but I can't blame her because this is what she's been brought up to know. This has been what she's been brought to do.
Well, even scarier than that, her father is, and I'm sorry if you don't like him, it doesn't really matter for this statement, a goddamn genius.
I think he did a lot of wrong things for us, but I tell you what, I think he also played a lot of things right for us.
And in order to get anything done right at all, as we saw under Obama, you got to do a lot of stuff wrong. Because if you refuse to do the wrong thing, nothing happens at all.
And and I ain't mad at him for trying to get a little peace while as a president, and I'm never
See,
been.
that's what I'm saying. That's part of the genius. Clinton went straight up, full out Italian and French republicanism.
Oh,
He's like, I got mistresses who got mistresses.
and I play the saxophone.
You know, I'm gonna let you guys take a look at the ugliest bitch that ever sucked my dick. There you go. Let that be the scandal.
Yeah. And so now, is that the guy that I want representing us? No.
He's a genius, though, man. He
But-
knew exactly what he was doing.
But at the same time, if I had that much, I mean, it's not so far probably from what I would have done. So, no, I there's a lot of things I don't like about it. Do I salute him and be like, all right, brother, I get it. Yeah. I mean, Monica Lewinsky, probably not my prize gem, but
Play that ugly saxophone, wet boy.
you know what? I mean, but he did it. And I have to give it to Obama when it came out to the b-ball, the basketball, and he,
Sucks.
but you know what? He played that with March Madness, and man, people were wanting to. And the only reason why I know that shit is because I was, in a restaurant that sports was something that you had to pay a little bit of attention to. But again, that's great marketing. I mean,
It really is. It really is. And it was a great way to keep white people comfortable with the fact that he was obligated, as the first black president, to do as much as he could for the black community.
Right. So there was, but even going back and thinking about the Clinton. Yeah,
I don't know who River Rosegood is. Go ahead.
who? What is?
J Ward asks, who is River Rosegood?
Oh,
River Rosegood.
I couldn't tell you.
No idea.
But again, those are power plays in a way that I commend them. I mean, nice. Still has little to do with the actual running of our country and making it better, but he made people like him, and popularity is what we do now, and liking people, because we gotta like you. Sorry, I don't have to like my president. I don't have to like him. If he's doing something good and he's doing something right, I should feel that that's more important than whether I think he's attractive or, man, he can play that saxophone. I grew up watching Reagan, and I was a big fan of Reagan. I still think Reagan had a lot of the things right. But he did a lot of things wrong. But you know what? When he did it wrong, he did it. I still want to believe, whether I'm right or wrong, that he did it for our people and not because of his popularity. Yeah, again.
How old are you?
46.
46. Okay, so
45. I'll be 46. Sorry.
All right, 45. You were very, very, very young
Yes.
when Reagan was still Hollywood elite.
No, I didn't know who he was. Hollywood elite.
He was Hollywood elite. He was in a lot of movies.
He wasn't in
All
enough.
of them terrible.
Yeah, and I knew that. I knew that he was bad.
He was like the Ben Affleck of his time.
Oh, now you gotta, I'm not a fan of Ben Affleck, but come on. Ben Affleck's been in some good movies.
Which is what people would have said about Reagan back in the 50s.
But I get what you're saying. I mean,
Right.
All giggles aside, I get what you're saying there.
President Ben Affleck would probably have a lot of good things to say because people wrote the things that he says, and he is a person who reads what he's told to read on camera. That's his job. It always has been. So when you say Reagan did this or Reagan did that, I mean, by the time the man was president, he actually was suffering from late stage Alzheimer's disease.
And I'm not ignorant of the fact that actually it was his administration.
Right.
I
have
mean,
no idea who that is.
There were a lot of people who went into the personality that people recognize as Reagan. And a lot of those people are still there in the same positions they've been in since 50 years ago.
and but that's what's funny is okay. So what makes the damn what makes the where is the subtlety? Where is the difference between, because I know that, oh, sorry, excuse me. I know that some of the sane people were there and have been in the background, still kind of there.
What was that toad's name that was working for Bush? He was like the campaign genius that got him elected, and then he was the campaign genius that did everything, and then they fired him, and he was this horrible monster from hell that needed to die in a fire.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
You know what I'm talking about. He looked like a toad.
Because I can almost see it because of the W movie, the one that Josh Brolin played Bush as. I couldn't tell you his name. I mean,
he went to work for Fox immediately after Bush left office. He had his own show. Not Scarborough. That's a totally different thing.
Okay, then that.
You know who I'm talking about though? Like that, he was just this short, pudgy little toad of a person, and everybody claimed he was this mad super genius that cooked up the whole Bush legacy and blah blah blah. And then he says one thing that the Republican Congress disagrees with, and they throw him out of the White House and write 15 books about how he's an evil bastard and blah. You know, just like. When people get caught up in the partisan bullshit, what happens is they stop thinking about what's going on, and that's the whole point. It's part of the reason Trump is such a brilliant marketeer. Right? He said it before he took office. He's like, I know how to deal with controversy. I've been living controversy my whole life. Blah blah blah. He's right. And so far, we're going on to year 2 of his presidency. It's been nothing but one controversy after another, and literally nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Now, some people are like, Trump's the best president ever. He's shaking Washington up. And other people are like, Trump's a fucking idiot. He can't shut his mouth. But in either case, you're not paying attention to the fact that he has done absolutely nothing. He's a ringleader of a circus, and he knew that going in, and he's making the most of it, and he's doing a great job at what he wants to do. It's just that what he wants to do has nothing to do with running the country. Rocket Man!
Right.
Yeah. And
But-
anytime something comes up that's about him, he makes it about the NFL.
Yeah, and
Well,
if it's not about him, he makes it about him until it becomes about him, and then he
Yeah.
changes the subject.
So what is the best case scenario for us?
Honestly, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about specifically? Because that's a really cryptic question.
Well, okay. So if you were to become president tomorrow.
Oh God.
Yeah, okay. But what's the
America capsizes.
first thing that
Next civilization. Here we go.
Pretty much.
that you
No, I would tear
focus
it
to
down.
fix?
Fix? Fuck it. No, burn it. You
Okay.
don't fix a fucking patch of weeds. You mow it.
Okay.
I think that we've reached a technological age where we need to stop pretending that everybody goes to a tiny little schoolhouse on the prairie, right? You understand what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
got to move past the image that made America a frontier country because we're not a fucking frontier country anymore. I don't know if anybody here has been to Montana, but you cannot get out of sight of a 7-Eleven. It doesn't matter how high up the mountain you go. It doesn't matter how far out across the prairie you are. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. There's a 7-Eleven right over there. There's no such thing as frontier anymore. You actually cannot anymore, as of 5 years ago, settle land in the United States. You can't do it. It's all been purchased. Almost all of that by 3 companies who primarily are subcontractors of the nation of China. That aside, everything is now owned. There is no more frontier. We are not the same country we were 300 years ago. The American dream of 40 acres and a mule is no longer possible.
Okay.
When you look at what's happened between when that really stopped being feasible and when it stopped being feasible to pretend that it was feasible, right? Those are 2 very different things because the pretense lasted until like 10 years ago or something. When you look at what the American dream has been shifted to, most people will think, oh yeah, like a two-room house, a townhouse in suburbia with a white picket fence and a dog. Right? That's disgusting to the vast majority of Americans. People don't like that idea.
Right.
And we have an economy based on immigration, and I'm not talking about any one particular place. A lot of the immigrants that I have met lately have been from England and Ireland. We have an economy based on immigration because it punishes citizens punitively with tax laws. And the reason it does that is so that it can continue to float the lowest corporate taxes on earth, and then they use the money that they are not paying in taxes to lobby our government while making claims that they have the highest corporate taxes on earth, which is a lie. If people actually understood what the taxes were about, they would know that's a lie. But tax law has been made so complicated and obfuscated that average people have to go hire a professional to file their W-2 forms at this point.
Yep. Yep, I can't do my taxes on my own.
So the American dream as a concept has been, the Republicans try to say that we have this entrepreneurship dream now. This is this small business owner, fucking Ayn Rand religious bullshit. And the Democrats, I hate having to admit this, are constantly talking about how many more handouts they can give to poor people. God, I hate admitting that.
Why?
Because it shouldn't be fucking true. The 2 sides don't actually come into contact with each other. There's not really a conflict between those 2 things.
Right.
The politicians try to present a conflict and say, this is why blah, 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 you should hate them, yada, yada, yada. And it's on both sides. But they never actually come into contact with each other. Poor people have been failed by the system. They are outside the system. They are so broken that they can no longer participate in our society. And that's literally 67% of the population. And then burdening the few people who can work inside the broken-ass, fucked-up system with the weight of just the survival necessity of the other 2/3 of the population pisses them off, and rightly so. But the fact is, the people who are making arguments like, go get a job, you bum, don't own a business. If you can't fucking hire me, then you can't tell me to go get a job. You didn't do your civic duty. You have enough money to run a business, and you're not doing it. But as a homeless person, the many times that I've been homeless now, if I try to tell the people that are screaming, get a job, you bum, at me while I'm on the street being like, I'm starved to death, bitch. I haven't showered in 2 months. You know what it's like having this big of a zit on your ass? You don't want me serving you food? Right? When that's where the real conflict is there's rich people walking to work and homeless people sitting in their way.
Right.
Well, but then here's the conundrum within that, because um, and I'm not gonna take anything away from what you were saying, because again, I've come to learn that the perspective from one person to another is hugely different than what we truly feel. What we see is honest, but at the same time, I went out to San Francisco, and my cousin was like, "Whatever you do, just don't give money to the guys that are homeless." And I'm like,
Yeah, not on Castro. You don't do that.
"But I'm like, but why?" He's like, "Well, because chances are, when they're done, they're gonna walk about 30 minutes this direction and get into a BMW and drive home." And
That's
I'm
true in San Francisco.
and I'm so okay. So there, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
If you were to cross the bridge and go into Berkeley, that's where you'll see actual homeless people. Because there's no fucking way that you can literally be homeless in San Francisco and not be dead in 4 months or less.
So now, for you and I to sit here and try to advocate for the homeless people when that stereotype is there.
That's not a stereotype, that's a business model. And part of the reason that's a thing that happens is because there are rich people who are specifically trying to sabotage social services. That guy who can go get in his BMW after pretending to be homeless all day and asking for money and probably making $1,000, that guy hates the homeless. He's doing that specifically to let people know that he's rich and pretending not to be. He's trying to propagate the myth that all homeless people are actually rich. Now, what you want to do with it is up to you, but I hope that you think it through, that if somebody is that rich and they're pretending to be homeless, they've got a fucking agenda.
Right. Okay. And the agenda that it. Here's what I'm trying to wrap my mind around things, because um you know I've never felt that I've been wealthy. Never.
That's funny. I'm going to go ahead and let you complete that, but rich people have never given me money when I ask for it.
Well,
Poor
right.
people are the ones who donate. Poor people are the ones who give to charity. Poor people are the ones who donate food. Poor people are the ones who staff clinics. Poor people help other poor people. When you're homeless, you rely on poor people. The rich will try to kill you. I've actually been in a situation at least 3 or 4 times that I can count where the rich kid of some fucking lawyer tried to murder me for sport. Rich people are dangerous and scary. They can get away with murder, and they like using leverage on each other to maintain their what they call social connections, because they're fucking evil, most of them. Poor people help each other out.
Okay. So I've been grateful enough to been able to work most of my life. I physically can still work at this moment. Um, Unfortunately, due to some bad decisions within my life, continuing what I used to do is not as feasible as I want to. But I've been grateful because I've had, within the last few years, an uncle in it that has done overly well, and will give money out to all my cousins. Um, Now I've done the paycheck to paycheck. I've lived that life. Um, there's been times where, um, you know, I worried about the apartment I had being taken away from me because I didn't pay rent, and I didn't do it on time. I've had cars taken away from me because I didn't pay for them. But me as a person, as an individual, I still I worked hard. Now, when I say that I've been given this money, this hasn't been all my life. I struggled for a long time, but I did it on my own. Um, I didn't realize even 20 years ago that there was probably an aspect of help I could have asked for, but I did it. I did it for myself. Um, I struggled with what I did. I was never poor in my own thought and process because I had a place to live. I had a bed. Um, shit, I had a TV. I mean, I had access to cable. Um,
I gotta do a biocycle. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Go ahead. This dude is super interesting.
oh yeah, no, I truly enjoy it. I
Yeah.
truly do. I really do.
Yeah, I'm just not.
I'll be honest. I'm having a difficult time comprehend it, or oh, I don't want to say empathy, but I
Hmm.
it's a matter
It's
of
just something. It's just something you can't understand unless you've been there, right? Like,
when, and I guess to his level. I mean,
right.
I'm still
And it's a
want.
good thing. It's good that you've never had to, beg for money or
But
food or.
yeah, no, I've never had to beg for food. I've never had to beg for shelter. I've never had to go, dude, I need a place to crash for tonight. Um,
Goldie, you're gonna pick up in a pretty good spot here. So, yeah, you've missed some stuff, but you'll be fine.
and I hate to sit here and think that I'm gonna have this type or level of conversation with someone
Mm-hmm.
that truly has had, you know,
Some shitty luck. Yeah.
and kind of rots my gut a little bit. I mean, it's not that I don't know.
Oh.
I know that he's not. No, he's not trying to put us on this level, but at the same time, it's the awareness of it that
Mm-hmm.
it's scary, and when we start,
That it could happen to anybody.
no, the
Oh.
fact that if something doesn't happen right, I mean, that's where I could be. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and and where.
Oh
It,
yeah, I mean, neither of us could.
where is the support or the backing? And we'd like to think that the 30 years of work I've done and done what I thought was working my ass off actually doesn't account for anything. I mean, when it comes to the way it plays, it doesn't mean shit. It
Right.
and that's
Water.
I need to build my. Yep. I'm gonna fucking die to this fucking crab.
Yes. Got my first speed racer. My first dyno as well.
But you know, it's also I sit here and with the gal that I run with and trying to comprehend some of the scenarios that she runs into, and I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Gets really hard to truly think that there may be a better thing out there when we're living in a society that it doesn't really make a difference. I mean, it.
What do you mean? What's that idea that doesn't make a difference?
I mean, it.
For example.
Well, how can we make it right? I mean, there's a level of some dumbass shit that goes on, but still, how do we make it right?
How do we make it right?
And I mean, we look at these politicians that worry about these things and that and this, or I mean, there's such an abundance of things, but I'm sitting here trying to fuck. Killed my bear. And I don't want to be one of those dumbass highfalutin son of bitches that, I mean, because there is a level that
Sure, I think anybody that's not been in that situation, there's going to be a level of that. And there is the stereotype of, whatnots. But, I mean, we also can't just say, well, this is all my fault at the same time. You've given money to somebody before, right?
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I
mean, as have I, and generally I do when someone asks. Now, if there's a lot of people begging for money, it makes it harder. It makes it more difficult. You can't give $20 to everybody, right?
No.
Well, Unless you've been out there, you probably don't even know. Large groups of homeless people, when they're all begging in the same place, they generally are also eating and sleeping and showering in the same place. So
Hmm.
they often share everything they get.
Yeah.
If you were to walk by and give everybody $5, they're going to go out and probably buy a couple of bottles of OE and maybe a bag of weed and a pizza. And they're going to go to the YMCA and guard the shower while people are in there because otherwise there's trouble. And then they're all going to go out to the same campground and they're going to enjoy their pizza and they're going to have a beer, they're going to smoke a bowl, and they're all going to sleep together in a big pile so that they're safe.
I mean, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you?
Well, it's kind of out of survival necessity on a lot of different levels.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then that's also where
But I guess you see it as these people, and maybe this is definitely my ignorance showing here. Is that whenever you see, if I'm walking down, the street and I see 3 or 4, and they're just, kind of, 3 or 4 homeless people, and they're just kind of scattered, but you can tell that they're, that they're on the same street for a reason, right?
Right.
But you don't know what that reason is generally.
Well, I mean, just like any family, they're going to have internal squabbles and like break up and have fights and whatnot. But
Right. But you almost see them as competitors.
sometimes they are.
Yeah. And this is a bug, I think, not a feature in as far as human capacity goes for generosity. But if I would feel worse giving $20 to the first guy and not being able to give $20 to the next guy than I would have being able to give money at all, than giving money at all. I'd feel better about myself.
I mean, I find myself in a strange position of saying that if you have 15 cents, you're probably not going to need that. Just give 15 cents is enough that if 10 people were to give somebody 15 cents, that's $1.50. That guy can go get a bottle of Coke and a taquito.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That's 2 days of survival for him.
Yeah, and I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I'm saying there's an obvious bug in that, in what I'm talking about, right? Like,
Well, I mean, you use the example of $20 because that's not a lot of money. And when you're homeless, $20 is, I can go buy a bag of weed and then share my weed with people who got enough for food and water and whatever else.
mm-hmm.
And weed's a great example. I'm sorry to be throwing this out there because when you're homeless and starving and dehydrated and infected with stuff and living in the outdoors and your immune system's always compromised and you have spit on you and you have to do your business in places that are probably like the trash can behind a seafood restaurant so that nobody will smell it, you don't feel good. And just a couple of hits of weed takes all of that away for just long enough that you can maybe actually get sleep and wake up not crazy tomorrow.
Right. No, and I'm not saying like the $20 was arbitrary.
Well,
no.
for you. But what I'm trying to tell you is if you give somebody a full $20 and they're homeless, they're gonna buy a bag of weed. I guarantee it. And the reason they could do that is because that becomes currency in their circle.
That doesn't bother me.
It's not like, but it bothers a lot of people when you say, you're going to go buy drugs with the money I give homeless people. Yes, they are, because they need drugs. Yeah. What they actually need is antibiotics, but antibiotics cost like $200, and you're not going to give them $200, so they're going to buy weed.
Hi, Anna.
But you get what I was saying. Though.
Yes,
like you understand what? Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to try and increase the strife among people who are already suffering. I get it.
No, but I'm also saying that this is a clear problem. Like for each person who is, who might be a donator, right? Like
the advice I would give you
would
be talk to them.
Yeah, well, okay. But I'm saying
you might not have half an hour to hear their whole damn life story, but give them 5 minutes and talk to them. Just one. Okay. Any one person. When you see a group of homeless people, talk to one. Just any one. And it doesn't matter if that's the one you give money to or not. First of all, they really need somebody to be nice to them.
Or just
Mhm.
buy
And
20
second,
buy
I don't know
$20
if you know this.
buy $20 worth of McDonald's burgers and
Oh no, don't do that.
why not?
Oh, McDonald's give you diarrhea.
They've
And
already
I don't
got
know
it.
if you know this, but if you haven't showered in 2 months and you're eating like maybe 300 or 400 calories a day, diarrhea is the end of your life. Like, there's no bathroom you can go to. You know, you go ruin a McDonald's bathroom because somebody gave you McDonald's, and then they don't let anybody hang out in front of McDonald's anymore. You don't. If you want people to, if you want to make sure that they're going to eat that instead of buying drugs or buying alcohol or whatever, give them $5 or less. They will go get food. They know what they need in order to not ruin everything that is in their life. Just if you like decide what food they need for them, that's. I understand where you're coming from with it, but you don't have the experience to know that that can kill people.
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
insane. I mean, yeah, it gives me the shits too, so I understand.
They're not going to turn down the food. One neighborhood that I was stuck in for a little while, we had these really fat black women that like to eat ribs at a restaurant nearby every single day, and sometimes they would give us their leftovers. And sometimes the leftovers would be a little nasty, and sometimes we would go find a backyard to destroy. It's not on purpose. It's just that when somebody gives you food that's kind of nasty and you're starving to death, you're gonna fucking eat it.
Yeah.
And there's consequences to that, though. One of which is you're gonna ruin the next bathroom you find, and you need to drink nothing but water and lots of it for like 5 days to recover. It's it's very complicated when you're out there, when you're in that situation and you're finally learning all these things after your third or fourth month of discovering just how toxic, and I literally mean toxic, not this bullshit people have been using the word for it lately, but actual poison society is. Like, when you are in the street all the time and you end up covered in that crap that comes out of the back of a car, it makes you so sick. You turn gray and like your body parts go numb and you can't breathe and you can't sleep and you get the shakes and then you find out that you're addicted to cigarettes and you don't even smoke.
Right. And yes, the dinosaur's head does look like a penis.
And Penosaurus.
Right. It's a penisaur.
Yeah, Paraceratherium is definitely a good name. Good job.
Thank you. This is my first time, so.
But yeah, but like I was saying, just talk to one. Hey, just pick one out of the crowd. Maybe the one that's the least offensive to you. It doesn't really matter. Just talk to one, because no matter what you talk about, that's going to be the conversation that night between all of them that gather around whatever burning barrel they happen to know is nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And then you suddenly have not had to pay for the most effective spy network in the world. If they find out that there's a job that would suit you, they will come find you and be like, "Hey man, thank you for talking to me. That guy over there is hiring somebody with your skills." They can't get the job because they can't take a shower. They don't have any place to put clean clothes. They can't. It's not even feasible for them to get a real job. But if you're a nice person, they are a spy network working for you.
It's interesting. Never thought of it that way. But, I mean, so like we were saying, I think you came back in the middle of it. Like, I think the biggest issue, I think, with giving out, and most of it is ignorance, right? But there's another point of the psyche of the person that is, and I find that interesting. The person that, whoever is giving the money, either Just because they're not getting money doesn't make them a bad person. You know that. It's just we not everyone is um, trained to have such empathy to and you have to I guess they don't understand you don't understand the situation walking in, of course. You don't understand, what will happen if I give money. And again, this is more ignorance. But two, there's that, like I was getting to a while ago, there's this bug, not a feature, to our generosity. Like, why does it feel worse that I gave somebody $20 and didn't give somebody else $20? But I would feel better. I would feel and than giving neither of them $20. I should feel good about at least giving one person $20, right? But now I feel like I've treated someone unfairly, so this little bug creeps up and says, "Hey, um, you've now treated these people unfairly."
I think maybe part of that is that you're already having empathy for them. You already recognize that they have already been treated unfairly, and that's why they are where they are.
And I just, it's a problem that we all need to, get rid of. But you run into this sort of thing all the time where empathy just kind of goes haywire, right? Like,
well, a lot of it is societal programming. When you're not homeless, like before you reach that threshold, that boundary where you're no longer part of society, when you're still above that line, you have been programmed for your entire life to believe that existence is competition over money. You're competing at work with your other coworkers. You're competing in your career with the people that you're going to see at your high school reunion. You're competing in traffic. When you go to a store and you try to buy something, you're competing with other people in line with you. Everything is competition over who can do whatever they can with money. But the simple fact is, you're not fucking rich. You already lost. You weren't born with a giant fortune in your pocket, so you don't win. Period.
Right.
When you compete, it's supposed to be about winning something.
Right.
The rich people can compete, and they do. It's pretty much all they do. But we're the chess pieces in their game. And for us to internalize their game, that doesn't work.
Right.
There's a lot of... I'm absolutely certain that almost all of libertarianism, which is not a unified movement, by the way, would disagree with me on the point of internalizing their game, because libertarianism is built on ideas that are based on internalizing that game. But really, it's just a game. Until you're starving to death. Once you reach that line, it's not a game anymore. I did a research report a couple of years ago because I was trying to win an argument with a Asperger's guy. Don't ever do that, by the way.
Okay.
I went and I looked up at the Bureau of what do you call it? The Bureau of Statistics, the Labor Statistics. Bureau of Labor Statistics. There are somewhere around 109 million jobs in the United States. Now, there are 350 million Americans the last time I looked at the census. Yeah. If you take those two things and you say, okay, 350 million Americans, 109 million jobs, that means that at least 2/3 of us are not employed.
Right.
So when they say 8% unemployment, like, all I hear is...
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, and this goes back to Darwinism, right? Like, only so many can. There's only so much resource.
Well, that's the premise, and it's especially good in Keynesian economic theory. But we live in a country where there are 6 times as many homes sitting empty as there are homeless people. We have turned land value, which is completely arbitrary and not based on any market, by the way. We have turned land value into the basic underlying currency that supplements our energy economy, which is what oil is. It's energy.
Right.
So we have what's called the petrodollar internationally. But people don't realize that only about 2% of the value of a dollar is backed by petroleum. The rest of it is backed by housing costs, which banks are trading like fucking poker chips in this big gambling game that nobody gets to play. 6 times as many empty houses as there are homeless people. That means that if you were to give every homeless person any house of their choice, and then also give every American their choice of houses, and then take all of the leftovers and demolish them, you would have enough crap to build a fucking tower to the moon. Right? And we're still building houses like crazy. There's no market for them. They're worth zero. When you have a supply that outpaces demand by factors, right? Mm-hmm. And in this case, it's a factor of 5. When you have the supply outpacing the demand by a factor of 5, right? Anybody who understands any of the basics of economics can tell you that product is fucking worthless. Literally has no value.
Right.
And yet, we still prop our economy up on this illusion that houses have value. You're not winning the game if you're not rich. If you don't own a land development company that manufactures 100 times as many houses as could possibly be used, you're not winning. So the argument that I like to have with libertarians is I like to educate them on their own premises and then get to the point where I can reveal facts like that to them and be like, look, in a system that makes sense, you would be right.
Right. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know, some libertarians, like, that's always kind of been my thought process. You know, in a perfect world, libertarianism is something I would love. But first of all, I don't trust people enough.
You don't really have to trust people when there's a contract involved. That's the nice thing about libertarianism. I mean, they start with a social contract and build outward from there. And a lot of them aren't aware that that's what they're doing, but it is what they do. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that they're looking for another way than the 2 options they're presented of absolute capitalism and absolute communism. That's a stupid fucking argument.
Yeah.
Like, we don't live in an absolute system. There's never been an absolute system. The system we live in is socialist to the core.
Right.
If it weren't, we wouldn't have public utilities. We wouldn't have public roads. We wouldn't have public education. We wouldn't have public polices. Can you imagine living in a world where you have to subscribe to the police?
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
I mean, that's a libertarian ideal, and in a system where people actually had a full accounting of their genuine wealth, it might even make sense and work. But trying to apply solutions like that to the system we currently live in, no.
Yeah, Goldie, you see me just fucking chasing everything. Everything's too fast or too big.
You need bolas.
Dude, you need.
What do you think, Hawkwind? Are you thoroughly pissed off yet?
No, it's not a matter of pissed off. It's actually just a matter of sadness, depression. I mean, I'd like to think bigger of what we are, and really trying to comprehend it in a sense that it's not. It's sickening. I mean,
Yeah.
And it needs to be. I mean, if you don't, how do they put it? If you're not confused and outraged, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
but you know, even if I were to be outraged by it, and it just, there's a level of process within us as being humans and being what we are, that this is not something I think. I don't think this is whatever the grand design may be, or whatever the idea of us becoming what we are. I don't think this is what was meant for us, and it's sad to me. It truly saddens me, and it hurts me in a way, because, god damn it, I mean, what truly can what what
What
can
can I
I
do
do?
about it?
I mean,
Yeah.
how I can help one person, maybe. Maybe, I do go and I talk to that homeless person, but but that's a band-aid to the concern. It's not a solution. I mean, yes.
Willingness to be surprised. That's one of the things that the richest people in the United States have constantly been talking about whenever they are asked, how did you get where you are? Willingness to be surprised.
But what's that mean? I mean,
That means trusting some asshole that doesn't deserve it. That means taking a risk that you definitely shouldn't. It means once in a while giving the job to a person that you know for absolute certain can't possibly fucking do it.
yeah, and I've done that. I truly have. I've been in that position where I could help people. I've been in that position where um I've and again, here's my dilemma personally, because I say these things. I say that I've done it, but I have no proof of it. I have no validity from what I say. But from where I sit within my perspective, I've done it. I've given the wrong person the right opportunity. Um, and I've tried. I've tried in a lot of ways, and it's backfired on me more than it's actually benefited me. But when it has benefited me, god damn it, it was glorious in a lot of ways, and that's neat on an internal sense. That's neat internally, and that feeling, that good feeling, I that's mine, and I own it, and I enjoy the shit out of it. But really, that's a fraction of a solution. And that's again where it bothers me, and where it makes me sick, because you know we're not in that world now. We're not in that world where that you give that guy, or you give that person that opportunity, and you allow it to benefit you, um, because it you do that now. The backlash will hurt more than it did to actually take the time and the effort to help that person. And but internally, yes, as my one moment, and as I try to continue to push that moment, it I the reward of it's beyond my vision, I guess, of seeing it, of trying to do it. Even within, I guess, I still internally try to comprehend who the fuck I am and what the fuck I'm doing, and how am I gonna make an impact on this place we call Earth. That's a planet within a universe, and within that universe there's galaxies or galaxies within the universe, whatever it. I'm very small within, and it gets tough to
What
continually.
makes you feel that way? What makes you feel small? Because it occurs to me that might be one of the methods that the people that are currently in power use to stay in power, is to convince everybody else that they're powerless. So what is it that makes you feel like you can't do things? What is it that is it like when you look at the things that you want to do, the official route to getting there that you have been taught is so convoluted, complicated, and overwhelming that you don't even want to look at it? Is that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, you're. I'll apologize for 1 sec, because emotions will get a part of me for a moment, but for everything I think I do right, and I've done it well for so long, I still get beaten. Still getting beaten down in one way or another. Now, within my own mind and process, I'm like, but I still don't have it fucking bad. So why do I feel bad because I get beaten down? But it feels like every which direction I turn. I mean, maybe it's because I watch too much damn TV and D&D, and I wanted to be the hero, and at the end of it I save the world. Maybe within my mind I still go, yeah, it's possible. I can be that grand, and I can't. I can't push the lever of the world to change. So because I don't want the hurt. I don't want the pain. I get it that it's important in a lot of ways for growth and progress and help, but I got a lot of struggles within my own mindset of things. And I think I'm a strong and bold individual, but god damn.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you focus on the negative. I'm not trying to break you down psychologically and be like, "Nah, how does it make you feel?" I'm not trying to do that.
No, and I consider myself more a realist than I am a positive or negative person.
Right.
It is what it is. There's a level of, if I grow a petunia and a weed comes and eats the petunia, then that's the nature of things. So I'll grow another petunia. But
Right. Now, see, here's the situation that I'll put to you. You work some terrible soul-crushing office job, and on your way to work, there's some really old, like 70 or 80-year-old lady who's always out in the garden pulling weeds. Now, it probably never occurs to you while you're walking to work that 70 or 80-year-old woman is bent over pulling weeds with arthritis so bad that it probably feels like she got hit by a car by noon every single day of her life. And why is she out there doing it? Because she really likes flowers. And maybe she hopes somebody else will like flowers as much as she does. It's her way to connect with somebody else in the world. And she doesn't even know if it's actually going to work.
Right. No, and I understand
It's-
this. I
It's literally where the phrase "stop and smell the roses" came from.
I truly understand this concept because um, the scenario, different story, same idea was put in front of me one time where um, the guy on a bus with his 3 kids and they're starting to be really overactive and obstinate and the father's just not doing anything, and so the bus passenger just sitting there and looking to this father and just like, why why won't you do anything for these kids? Well, come on, get in control of them, get them contained, and finally gets to the point where the passenger simply looks at father and says, hey kid, do you mind, your kids are being really a pain in the ass. And the father just kind of looks at him and goes, well, I don't know what to do. Their mother just died, and I don't know how to tell them, and I don't know how to deal with it. So there's an internal struggle that everybody has and everybody does, and there's an internal will that people do the things for the reasons that they do. But God, crying out loud, um, I can't make sense out of it, and I can't understand it. And I wish there were more people that did,
Well,
but my sympathy, my empathy, or whatever it may be that anybody wants to title it as, I I shut it off for a lot of reasons because too many times I've seen it played against me or played for me in a sense of, and so society as it lays, from where I see it, there are a lot of good and worthy people out there. I still truly want to believe in that, but unfortunately, there are more people out there that will turn that into something for their own personal benefit instead of utilizing it for what it is.
well, and then you gotta try to not feel too bad for those people. They've been taught, just like everybody else, that the world is a giant competition and they can potentially win it.
Easier said than done in a lot of ways, but when it starts to happen, and I'm amazed by you, Nemo. Really, I truly am. And I understand this for me. It's amazing what you are able to share as strongly as you're able to share it, because it bothers.
There's an enormous amount of freedom in having nothing left to lose. Janis Joplin said it, and she was right.
And but still, there's a ground of foundation that you can stand on, even if the mountain's coming down around you, and you feel, I don't care if I'm gonna lose this or not. I'm still gonna shout out, and so I applaud you in a heartfelt way.
Thanks, man.
And I truly do, because it's disturbing in a lot of ways for me. Um,
Oh shit, I haven't even given you the zinger yet.
no, and at this point it wouldn't matter. I mean, honestly. Um,
When I say nothing left to lose, I mean I told you about that whole identity problem, right?
Right.
You're talking to a man that the CIA sent a girlfriend and a computer. As sort of like a, we can make your dreams come true. We dare you to fuck us. When you find yourself in that kind of a position of just absolute, whatever that is, absolute. Like sure, okay, here, we're afraid you might have a power to control the world. Also, we will destroy you. Like you can't take life as seriously anymore when you start like when the alphabet agencies are giving you ultimatums and you were homeless last month. You know what I mean?
And now I'm sitting here going, next time I get a fucking knock on my door, I'm gonna wonder what the fuck it is. Because I said,
I know who brought the voodoo on us.
I mean, no, and that's. But again, I have to be very honest because the honesty that you share within some of this, and knowing some of what I don't know, but knowing that it may be there and it may be a hell of a lot more than I can comprehend, because I don't want to sit here and comprehend it. I don't want to understand what particle of the world I'm really a part of. The fact that one of the biggest joys I have had in the last year was what you came and said to me, is that you took it upon yourself to have the crassness because of my crass.
Yeah.
I felt an inner joy from that, and that was.
I did too until I realized he wasn't talking about me at all.
But the impact we've both had on each other for this moment is utterly amazing in a sense. Within what, again, we kind of come back to the whole basics of what we've always talked about, that consciousness, that perspective. But
when Stephen Colbert had his own TV show, which admittedly was a while back now, conversations with guys like you both, by the way, would frequently end up on his show 2 or 3 days later after I had them with people like you. I have this, like, it takes a certain kind of person to even listen to me talk for 5 minutes. Both of you are that, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
I've always felt I've always been that type of person too. Unfortunately,
Here's an example my mom likes to make fun of constantly. It's a way. She has chronic depression, and every once in a while she's got to remind herself that she isn't powerless, and it's not worth throwing your life away because in 5 minutes something could happen that'll literally change the world. The example she likes to use is that one day I was having a really bad day, and I called Mom, and I was like, "Mom, I'm having a bad day," And she's like, "Oh, it'll be okay. What have you been doing?" We got to talking, and I told her I wrote a story about if Abraham Lincoln were a vampire. And it was the dumbest fucking story, but I just really needed to write something down. And I knew that sometimes the things I do on the internet get monitored. Okay, always. But it's not malignant. So she didn't believe me that I had written another story that became a big hit movie and blah, blah, blah. And so I was telling her this story about Abraham Lincoln, the vampire clan leader. And 2 months later, seriously, 2 months after I had that conversation with my mom on the telephone, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer comes out in theaters. And so every once in a while, Mom likes to remind me when I get depressed or when she gets depressed or whatever, that that fucking happened. I literally told her the story I had written down, and it's still on my computer. And I told her over the phone, and then a couple of months later, it was really there in theaters. no matter how fucking stupid I try to make the ideas, no matter how ridiculous the premise I come up with, whatever the hell they did to me in the army, they are still watching everything I do all of the time. And it's real, and I'm not crazy, because shit like that becomes movies. And that helps her remember that she doesn't have a 40-year-old burden living in her basement. It really isn't that difficult to change the world. Nobody's actually powerless. And that keeps her going. Now, as for like the people that I had conversations with, somebody make a great joke, I would laugh my ass off about it, and then I would go tell it to somebody else, and then 2 or 3 days later, it's on the Colbert Report. Every single time that happens, it's one more point towards, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not that hard to change the world. And however many years his show was on the air, he did that at least twice a week. He'd air a joke that was between me and some people that I was talking to privately. I don't know how he got a hold of that. There's definitely a series of lightning bolt connections that can happen between individuals very far apart and seemingly completely unconnected. And those lightning bolt connections are how the world moves. So Hawkwind, sometimes all it takes is planting a fucking flower, man.
I hope it is. I really do.
For real. There's a highway overpass where I used to live a couple of years ago, and the county would come through and mow, and then they would spray pesticides and kill all the grass, and it would get dusty and horrible, and traffic would be terrible on that overpass, and people would get into accidents and run each other over, and there was fucking tragedy all the time. And then one spring, I went out and I got a bag of wildflower seeds, and I just sprayed it all across that fucking hillside. $20, no big deal, who cares? A couple of months later, there's wildflowers, and there's bees, and there's hummingbirds, and the county doesn't mow it. Because they didn't mow it, there was no dust. Because there was no dust, there were no accidents. Because there were no accidents, the county fair that year was a great big success, and a whole bunch of business owners made a lot of extra money. So I kept planting wildflower seeds on the fucking overpass. Because that's all significantly better for thousands of people. $20. And then they mowed it. Well, the irony of the thing is that they were putting on the county fair, and the rich people putting on the county that there were no bugs, and part of making sure there were no bugs, according to the county auditor, was to mow the hillside, and it was a fucking disaster!
Oh, shit. Shit. I'm sorry if I'm not talking much.
You trailed off in the middle of the sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Oh, I don't know. I guess I just like listening. I mean, really, you brought up a lot of stuff that definitely out. Good story.
I hope the takeaway is that you're really not powerless. No matter how powerless you feel, it's all an illusion. The world doesn't work the way bureaucracy says it does. If it did, bureaucracy would be effective.
It's true. Very true.
You know, but that's also where I see things from outside the box, I see it as far as we don't know how it's supposed to work or how it's supposed to benefit. We all have our ideas of what should be right and wrong, but I don't know. I guess I just don't understand what our life priorities are anymore.
I mean, kind of, it's kind of a personal thing. I would think what your life priorities are. What are ours as a society? Uh, I've lost sight of that. I have no idea. What are we looking for here in America, other than money? What What is the end goal? To not have an end goal? To not end? To not be the next Roman Empire? And how do we get to that? Is it through empathy? Is that what we've end goal is to eat noodles? I can get behind that end goal. I like that, Goldie. Everyone needs noodles.
Yeah, my game keeps crashing, so
That sucks.
I think that's trying to tell me it's time for me to go to bed anyway. Even
Okay, man.
my gal's going like, all right, well, I'm gonna go to sleep. So I'm like, well, all right.
Well, just send them over this way and we'll continue the
There's
conversation.
there's nobody to send.
Oh, really?
So
Okay. Well, you have a good night, buddy. It's good talking to you again. Can't can't wait to do it again. If you get a wild hair and decide you want to get back on, hit me up.
oh yeah. Yep. Nemo, again, thank you in so many ways, man.
I think you must want to go smoke or something.
Well, I wish the best
Oh,
for you. But I'm gonna head.
all right, man. See you, buddy.